Okay, the goal of this lesson is to go over graphing lines in a slightly different way. So far we've graphed lines by mostly using the slope y-intercept form of a line, which means we've found the y-intercept, plotted it, and used the slope and the rise and run to plot more points. Today we're going to focus on looking at using two other points to graph lines. And those points are the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Okay, so the points where it crosses the x-axis and the y-axis. And the idea here is that all we need is 2 points to graph a line. And any 2 points we can draw a line through. And easy points to find are the y-intercept, which we already know, and the x-intercept, which is another easy point to find. Let's just look at a small example here. Say I graph the line with an x-intercept of -2 and a y-intercept of 6. Okay, so I'm going to graph it right on this grid here. So an x-intercept of -2 means it crosses the x-axis, right? This is the x-axis, this is the y-axis. It crosses the x-axis at -2. So it's -2 comma 0 is that point. And it crosses the y-axis, like it has a y-intercept of -6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's the point 0 comma -6. So that defines a line, right? Any 2 points define a line. So there's that line right there on that grid. So it's really, once you know the intercepts, it's easy to plot those points because they occur right on the axes. Notice. And you might want to take these notes down. Okay, so get a piece of paper out, copy down this statement right here. Notice for the x-intercept, okay, so that's the x-intercept. The y-coordinate is, do you know what it is? No matter what point on this line, the y-coordinate is always a 0. 0 is always a nice number to work with. For the x-intercept, for the y-intercept, the x-coordinate is always 0. That's the nice idea. So if I wanted to find out the x-intercept, I know the y value is going to be 0. If I want the y-intercept, I know the x value is 0. And we've always just said that an equation of a line has two variables. If you know one, you can always find the other. So we're going to use that idea to locate where these intercepts are. Let's do this example. It says graph the line by finding the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So I can use this little table to record my results after. And I have set up that little table because I know that the y-intercept is going to occur when x is 0, and the x-intercept is going to occur when y is 0. Right? If I want the point that crosses the y-axis right here, I know that its x value is going to be 0. Somewhere on there, it's going to be 0, 5, 0, 10. I don't know where it is. 0, -2, but it's on there with a 0 x value. So notice, if that's true, this is a formula that relates the two values together, the x and the y. So if I want the y-intercept, and I've got this equation in this form, it's in this kind of uglier form. So instead of rearranging, I could just plug in a value. The y-intercept, we know x is 0. So plug in 0 and see what the y is. So I'll take 6, plug in 0 for x, rewrite the equation, and now 6 times 0 is 0, and that leaves me with 2y equals 18. If you solve this for y, you've got the y-intercept. So if I divide both sides by 2, I get 9, which means when x is 0, y is 9. When x is 0, y is 9. So that's a point on our grid, 0, 9. So that means it crosses the y-axis at 9. That's 0, 9. That's the y-intercept of this line. See, this is a nice idea. If you know one value on the line, one of the coordinates, you can always substitute it in and determine the other coordinate of that point. So now if I want the x-intercept, the point that crosses this axis, I know the y value is 0. So in my equation, I substitute y to be 0 and solve for x. Notice that's 0. That's why this works out so nicely. So 6x plus 0 is 6x, and I got 18 over here. And if I divide both sides by 6, I get x is 3. So that means when y is 0, x is 3, and that creates a point, 3 comma 0. So 1, 2, 3, right there. So now I've defined a line because I've got 2 points. That was 3 comma 0. So that's the nice thing about graphing in this format. You can plug in a 0 and find out the intercept value. So I've just graphed a line by finding 2 points. Let's do another example. Let's use this line. Let's graph using this line. I'm going to graph again by using the intercepts. So if I want the y-intercept, I know x is 0, so I'll start by finding the y-intercept. I know x is 0, so I'll substitute 0 in for x and solve for y. So that's 0, so I have minus 3y minus 18 equals 0. Solving this small equation for y, I will add 18 to both sides. So adding 18 is 0, add 18 here, I get 18. And I'll divide both sides by negative 3. Divide by negative 3, I get y. Divide by negative 3, I get negative 6. So my y-intercept is negative 6. So that creates the point 0, negative 6. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's my y-intercept. And my x-intercept, I know y is 0. So I'll substitute 0 for y and solve for x. So that's 0. So that's 0, so I simplify this equation. I get 4x minus 18 equals 0. I'll add 18 to both sides to isolate for x. And I'll divide both sides by 4. So that gives me 18 over 4. Let's reduce that to smallest terms. 2 goes in there twice, 2 goes in there 9 times. This is 9 over 2. So that's 2, that goes in there 4 times and 1 left over. So this is 2 and a quarter, or sorry, 4 and a quarter. Sorry, 4 and a half. So my x-intercept is 9 over 2, which is 4 and a half. 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. There's my x-intercept. And that is my line. So I've just graphed this line by finding the x-intercept and the y-intercept.